What is going on, boys and girls? Welcome back to the Gaelic Gridiron podcast. Delighted to be here with you, and I have a fantastic guest joining me today. His name is Conor Tait, and he is a professional American football quarterback over in Germany with the Aschaffenburg Stallions. Conor, welcome to the podcast. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Absolute pleasure to have you on, Conor. Well, look, I think first and foremost, and we'll have a great conversation in a few minutes about your career and how you got to this point. But I think, for everyone listening, the question we all want answered is, how does a man from Ireland end up playing professional quarterback in Germany?
I don't know if there's an easy answer, but a lot of hard work and dedication, I think, is the short one. I sent out a lot of feelers, a lot of emails. I tried to network as much as possible. A few years ago, brought up the idea of wanting to play professional quarterback, and outside of North America, Germany is sort of the hotspot for quarterbacks. So that was certainly the goal, was to play in Germany. I know Japan's pretty strong as well, but that's quite far away. So Germany was the goal, and I got very fortunate. I got put in contact with the head coach of the Aschaffenburg Stallions, who at the time needed a quarterback, and they decided to take a chance on an Irish kid, and it worked out very well that year. That was a championship year for Aschaffenburg. We had a great season, and as soon as that year finished, I got back on a plane to Spain, which is where I currently live, and the next day I had three offers on the table. And I took one up north in Germany in a place called Minden. And so it snowball effect. Started small and got bigger and bigger. And here we are today. I'm back in Aschaffenburg now for this 2024 season. I've had a couple of stints in other places in Europe in between. But Aschaffenburg is, for me, it's been the place where I've had the most fun and enjoyed it the most. So I'm delighted to be back here.
And if I'm not mistaken, you taught yourself how to play quarterback during COVID, sitting in your bedroom. I mean, how does that even happen?
I would say that's the beauty of technology and YouTube. There's a million different videos out there on how to play quarterback, and there's more than one way to skin a cat. The quarterback position in the last 20 years has really evolved. If you look back at football in the 90s and before that, in the early 2000s, you'll see a lot of under center. You see a lot of seven-man protections, heavy run game, 70-80% of the time. But now quarterback has evolved into something different. You're seeing guys throw the ball more than they hand the ball off. You're seeing a lot of RPO game. You're seeing a lot more shotgun. And that requires different quarterback mechanics. So that was something that I really sat down and decided, when you go to a quarterback coach, they coach the bad habits out of you. But when you're someone like me, you're starting from scratch, you don't have bad habits. So if you can just train and get solid mechanically, that's step one. And as I say, that the kids I now teach mechanics to, the throwing the ball is about 10% of quarterback. 90% of it is in here. And it's mental toughness and ultimately decision making. So that was the tougher bit, which came with a lot of watching a lot of football, basically. A lot of college, a lot of NFL. I bought the NFL Game Pass, and instead of watching the games themselves, I watched the coaches film, which for anyone who doesn't know, it's the spider cam upstairs, and there's no volume, there's no commentary. And I just watch plays over and over and over again and try and ask myself, if I was the quarterback, what would I have done there? And why is he doing that? And I felt that has paid dividends.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, 100%. We talked a little bit before we jumped on to record this, and you were talking about your extensive sporting background. I mean, you played soccer at a high level in Portugal as a kid. Like, do you think that having that natural athletic background has been beneficial to you in this professional American football endeavor?
Yes, but I'm not a supreme athlete. I'm not running 4.4 at the combine. So I'm sneaky athletic, I think is what the term is. But I definitely think it stood to me. I say there's a triangle of success. You need to have talent, because without somewhat talent, you're probably not going to succeed. You need to have an excellent work ethic, because no matter how talented you are, without the work ethic, you will not make it to the highest level. And then the third piece of the triangle is luck. You have to be incredibly lucky. You have to meet the right person at the right time to get you in. And unfortunately for me, that finally happened at 21. And it was a long time coming, and maybe overdue, but it finally happened. And I'm very grateful that it did. And I'm going to make the most of it now for as long as it lasts. Ride the wave.
I wouldn't say you're sneaky athletic. I've seen the video of you running 100 meters in 11:55. I mean, I sprint. That's my thing is sprinting, and you'd run me pretty close, I'd say. And you're 10 year you're 10 now you are 10 years younger than I am, so that's my excuse. You're only a young fella.
Yeah.
Um, Connor, you're about to spend the summer playing, as we mentioned, for the Aschaffenburg Stallions, and congratulations on that becoming official. So tell me, you know, about your journey to date. I mean, how did you arrive at this point where this is where you're at right now?
Yeah, so it started in Aschaffenburg, and now I'm back here. 2 years ago, I came over not really knowing much about German football. I arrived with 10 days until the start of the season, had to learn the playbook, had to learn, a new language, which, my German is still certainly rusty, but I was able to communicate enough. Fortunately, American football is communicated all in English here. They don't change it, unlike Spain, where it's actually conducted in Spanish in a lot of places. But yeah, it all fell into place. Started the first game, and we won against a bogey team of Aschaffenburg, a team they've struggled for years, and we managed to sneak out a 14-7 win in pretty bad conditions. As I say, it just snowballed from there. We went on the road and won after that, and then we had to put up a 50 bomb on the next team, and it just kept going and going and going, and we ended up winning a championship here and having a great summer. And then I flew back to Spain, and the next morning I had 3 offers on my Europlayers account.
And
I was like, wow,
talk
okay.
to me. I mean, talk to me about what that felt like. I mean, it seems like a bit of a whirlwind season where you came into Aschaffenburg for your first season and you were thrust into the starting position kind of
Yeah,
almost immediately.
yeah. Um, Exciting, but at the same time, quarterback is all about keeping your head. It's, life is this, it's highs and lows. Quarterback is about this, staying calm, because if you're calm, the rest of the
Mm.
team will be calm. So not only do I try and play calm on the field, but I try and stay calm throughout life, not get too high or not get too low. That's very difficult, but that's always the goal, and I'm trying to grow in terms of that every single day. So when the offers came in, I was fairly relaxed. I just sat down and looked through each of them, and then decided which one was the best for my future. And that was Minden. I'm very very appreciative. I got to spend a great 10 months in Minden. It was a long season. The objective was championship, and we got beaten by an incredible team known as the Crayfeld Ravens. They had a great year. They went 12-0. They had their unbeaten season, and we went 10-2, which ultimately was a failure. But it was a good year, and I'm very thankful for that. And again, got on the plane back to Spain, and within a few days, I had the offer to play in Catalonia, which was one I was never going to turn down, because it's just such a unique opportunity to play there and embrace the culture. Um, so that and now here we are in Aschaffenburg again for the GFL season.
So Minden is obviously, and correct me if I'm mistaken, that's also in Germany.
Yes, it's about 30 minutes away from Hanover in North Rhine-Westphalia.
So it seems like the primary opportunities for people like yourself to play in the professional ranks are mainland Europe, primarily Germany and Spain. So is that kind of where you see yourself being based for the next couple of years, or what's the plan?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I sat down and looked at it logistically, and because Spain is so hot, they play in the winter, and Germany plays in the summer. So there is a slight overlap, but there's a pretty good opportunity to play 2 seasons in one calendar year, which I thought was unique. And given my family and my girlfriend are based in Spain, if I can spend 5 to 6 months in Spain, I'm a lot closer to them. I don't have to fly back, or they don't have to fly out to see me. I can kind of just jump in a car and be with them in a few hours wherever I am in Spain. So that was a big factor towards taking that decision. And who knows whether I'll do it again. Right now, I'm
Mm.
focused on Aschaffenburg, and we got a tough season ahead, a long season. So that's the main goal. And then once this ends, we'll worry about the rest. But I think it's certainly a pretty good plan
Yeah,
to go
absolutely.
between Germany and Spain.
I mean, it makes a lot of
Yeah,
sense. You maximize your time, you get as much football in as possible. So you're about to embark now on the summer season in Germany for the Stallions, already having been through it, which gives you a great
yeah.
advantage. So talk to me about like what's it like when you're in season. Talk me through a typical kind of week or day for you, game day when you're in the zone with the Stallions.
Yeah, well, remarkably, practice becomes easier in season because it's less intense. You're practicing on a Tuesday after playing on a Sunday evening, so you're not really going so hard. Guys need to
Mm.
rest up, and then you get to practice on a Thursday and you have a game the next Sunday, or maybe you're playing on Saturday and it's a short week. So practice actually, in terms of a physical aspect, gets easier. But in terms of a mental aspect, obviously it's a lot more taxing because there's not as much time to prepare. It's an interesting point because your first game of the season, 6 months
Hmm.
you're preparing for it. You know who your opponent's going to be. You're watching them. You're watching previous film. You're scheming on them. And now we're in week 2, and we got 5 days to prepare for our next opponent. So that kind of the mindset shift of not taxing your body, but the urgency to be prepared is what I would say the toughest thing to get your head around in season. But it's a blast, man.
It's
It's great. I wouldn't change it
it
for the
certainly
world.
sounds
It's
like
awesome,
you're
honestly.
living the dream. I mean, it's an opportunity that so many people dream of, but few actually achieve.
Yeah.
So what's kind of obviously you've been in these ranks now for a while. What's next, or what's the? I know you obviously you're focused on this season, and that's very important. But long term, is it European League of Football? Is it CFL? What's the 5 year? What's the dream?
It's as far as you can go. I'm very big
Mm,
on living in the present and not worrying about the future. You never know what's going to happen. We had a summer pause in Minden last year. We were 5-1 at that point, and the focus was on could we get to 11-1? Could we really run it back with Crayfeld? I was so focused, and I watching a lot of tape over that summer break. I come back in practice and I tear my LC ligament in my right elbow,
yeah.
and the season's done for me. So that obviously you have to have some sort of a rough plan. So
Mm,
it is climb the ladder, but you
mm.
can't get too far ahead because it's so football is it's so cutthroat, and b it's so unpredictable, and anything can happen at any point. So it's really about here and now, and it's about winning on Sunday, and then getting the job done this year in Aschaffenburg and getting Aschaffenburg up to the next level, and then we'll talk again and whenever.
Definitely excited to see how you get on, and definitely now that I'm aware of your existence, and I really really hope that anyone listening to this gives you a follow, gives the Stallions a follow, and keeps a track, because you're flying the flag for Ireland in the professional European ranks, which is just fantastic. Um, Now I believe you also have a sideline as a quarterback coach as well. So tell me a little bit
Yes.
about that, how it came around, and what was the kind of idea behind that.
The idea is if I can play quarterback good, I
Mm,
can probably coach it good, right? And I've watched a lot now and accumulated a fair bit of knowledge myself in game. And there's one thing being able to throw a ball at a picnic or a barbecue. It's another thing being able to throw the ball accurately on time with four guys trying to fall on top of you, and seven guys in the secondary watching your eyes and every move. So being able to translate and pass on that knowledge to the younger kids that are coming through is something that I really wanted to do. And I think a lot of teams in Europe are looking for it too. If they can get a guy that comes in that not only plays but can also give time coaching, it's sort of a win-win for everyone. So again, just logistically sitting down and planning out my life for the next few years, I felt like that was the path I wanted to take. And above all, I enjoy it. And the big thing is, I won't really coach a kid if he doesn't want it, especially a quarterback. I'll take a session with a kid, but if he doesn't want it, I'll tell the parents or the coaches or whatever. I said it's not worth the time because quarterback is so disciplined and you have to be so dedicated that if you're not in the top 1% of people that really want it, go play a different sport or go play a different position. I think.
So you're talking about, I mean, this as a kind of your motivations behind setting it up, and what you're hoping to achieve. I mean, is it in the plan to take these clinics or camps on the road around Europe? I mean, would you consider coming back to your home country and running some camps here for
Yeah.
potential quarterbacks?
Well, it's been a while since I've been back, so maybe I do need to make a visit. But I think I do have an ultimate goal for this, and I want to create an army of quarterbacks that we all end up playing against each other. my biggest motivation is to be shaking the opposition quarterback's hand, and it's someone I've coached 5 years ago. That's my goal, and to see as many kids succeed in what is such a difficult position. I mean, it is the hardest position in sports, and that's what motivated me in the first place to get into it. It's so technical, and the pressure on the position is unbelievable. I think with the new generation of people, it's kind of hard to put that work in because there's so much instant gratification and people want the success now. And this sort of belief of working your way up is sort of fading at the moment with the current generation. So the quarterback is just, and the amount of talent out there is phenomenal. So I mean, yeah, it's a privilege to play the position. So to get even just one kid playing professionally after being with me would be just the
It
dream.
definitely
Really.
is a great motivation. Conor, you've accomplished so much already in your brief professional career. I mean, you're talking about your first season there, and you were thrown in, and you got the offers, and you've basically you're coming up on, I think, is your fourth season of professional football in about 2.5 years. So,
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
crazy.
something
But
like
like,
that.
if you
Yeah.
could kind of pinpoint one moment or one kind of time that stands out as being a highlight or your favorite from that time, what would that be?
Um,
It's a hard
I,
question.
there's a few. Yeah, no, there's a few. I mean, we were on the road the first season in Aschaffenburg, probably the best handoff of my career. Which is ironic to say because you probably think it's a throw or something, but we were on the road. It was a tough environment against a good team, and we needed to win. We were midway through the fourth quarter, and we just had one of these drives that kept going. A few short passes, a couple of good runs that just kept going and going and going, and we chewed off so much clock. And we got down into the red zone, and we got onto the 2 yard line, and I got a play call. I got a pass play, and I got to the line. I into the huddle. I started calling it, and they were like, "Yo, no, ISO, let's go. We're gonna punch this in." And it was the only real time I've really not gone with what coaches told me to do because I looked at all the linemen. I saw the belief in their eyes. I'm like, they're gonna run this in first play, and we did. So and that put us up by 2 scores, and we ended up winning the game by 3 points, which set us up to win the championship that year. So that's one that really sticks with me.
Mm,
Let alone individual throws or wacky plays, or there's a wacky play in Spain this year that lasted about 25 seconds, running behind the line of scrimmage, nuts. But in terms of actually pivotal moments, that
yeah.
looking and seeing the belief in their eyes, and okay, yeah, this is where I overrule coach and players make the play. They're going to score here. Let's run this up the gut and punch this in, and let's the
So you're
championship.
currently based in Spain. You're playing in Germany for the summer. You're based kind of semi-permanently in Spain.
Yep,
Both locations have NFL Europe fixtures in the near future. Munich this year, Madrid next year.
they do.
Is there a particular NFL team you follow, or are you more a fan of the sport? Oh, okay.
I'm a Vikings fan, man, but don't ask me any more
That's yeah,
questions.
yeah, that's not too bad. Kevin Kelly, who is part of Gaelic Gridiron, is a Vikings fan as well. So you did okay with JJ McCarthy this year.
Yeah, I like JJ. It's funny because I remember seeing JJ coming out of high school and thinking he was very talented, like all of them are. But he's special, and yeah, there's obviously negative analysis about everyone. There's positives and negatives, but JJ took a lot of heat and sort of like Brock Purdy, that he's not special. That it was the team in Michigan that he's the quarterback who won the national championship. If I was a coach and I was drafting a quarterback, I
Yeah,
want the guy who won the whole thing. So and it doesn't yeah, you cannot be a bad quarterback and win a national championship. That's just not possible. And then when you hear from his teammates, they all rave. It's all rave reviews about JJ. So I think not only are they getting a great quarterback, but they're getting a great person, which at the quarterback position is very important. So I think Minnesota did a really good job in picking JJ, and getting the pass rusher at 17 too was a steal and a half. So I think
will you be
Minnesota had a
popping over
great
to
draft.
London for the Vikings game this year?
That's already, yeah, yeah. I got to make sure that Spain in the winter doesn't clash with that. I was looking at the calendar. I think it's going to be first or second week of October, something like that. I was there 2 years ago, and they beat the Saints. The wacky field goal
The
ending
double doink.
for the Saints. So I was in the stadium for that. That was the double doink. Yeah, that was oh man, what a game that was. Some
Well, listen,
unbelievable moments
Connor,
in that.
thank you so much for taking the time. It's been fantastic talking to you. Really, really looking forward to seeing how your career progresses this year and into the future. Wishing you all the best for the upcoming season. Definitely be keeping a close eye on you, and I really would encourage anyone listening or watching to give the Stallions a follow on social media. Give Connor a follow. Give
Yeah,
him the
definitely.
support, and we might get him over once the season's finished for a quarterback camp in Ireland. You never know.
Yeah, well, let's see. As I say, the future is very unpredictable, especially in football. But I think it's about time. I've been out of the country for too long. It's time to make a visit back. So thank you very much, Jimmy. It's been a pleasure, and look
Definitely
forward to
have to get
hearing
you
from
back
again
home
soon.
soon. Connor, thanks very much. We'll talk soon. All right.
Cheers, Jimmy.